So, the Mark Sandman 5-string tuning that lets you pay homage to Morphine and Sonic Youth at the same time, and also do a lot of one-man band stuff where you go low and go high all together. And I want to show you how easy it is. Now, I came up with it for baritone guitar, G to G. But it totally works on any guitar, any tuning, any scale length, it doesn't matter. Now, far be it for the likes of me to give anyone a guitar lesson, but I want to share an idea, see if anybody likes it, see if anybody tries it, maybe inspire other guitarists to shake up their songwriting style, and at the very least play a lot of stuff on one finger, makes it easy to sing and play at the same time, stuff like that. And I don't want to insult anybody's intelligence here, but I just want to walk you through every step of the way to show you how easy it is. So we start off with something I don't do a lot, and that's standard tuning. Put it in drop D. That's already kind of the first step of the morphine sound. Drop D, the key of morphine, that's what he said. Now, take the high E string, tune it down to D. Now, I'm not saying I invented this because it is perilously close to double drop D, and besides, there are no new ideas, and there are no solutions, only trade-offs. So here's where it gets different. So we're in double drop D, and we take the B string and tune it up to D. So they're in unison. This is the first step of the Sonic Youth sound, because a whole lot of their tunings are just unison strings. Now, take the G string, tune it up to A. So we got 2 octaves. We got octave A, octave D. Now, you can totally bypass the point of the 5-string tuning that makes it easier to do stuff with one finger, and then you got the low morphine 5th part and the high unison strings like Sonic Youth. But that would kind of be too much like double drop D and too standard. And the whole idea is to make it really easy to sing and play at the same time and kind of do a primitive lead and primitive bass line at the same time. And that's actually easier with 5 strings if you have a gap. So it's purely optional. You can just leave it like this. Play with 1 string. can do your Mark Sandman slides. But let's go all the way here. And now comes the fun part where we take off the D string to create two separate courses of strings to make it easier to play. Now, Ricky Wilson of the B-52s did something like this where he had a gap in the middle and he would just like go low and go high. So I'm really not saying I invented this. I bet somebody else has done it, but I've never heard of anybody do it with unison strings. Maybe that's my invention. Somehow I doubt it. So, D string. Unwind it all the way. String winder out. In German, they call it a Saitenkurbel, a string crank. Voila, we're in Sonic Sandman tuning for regular guitar. No restringing or modification required. So it doesn't sound quite as mighty as it does on baritone, but you can still get a decent bass line going in D. And you can always tune it lower on standard guitar too, especially if you put on, 12s, 13s and stuff. These are 11s, by the way, but still. The most important advantage this tuning gives you for one-man, two-man band work is that it gives you two keys of drones to play in that sound pretty mighty, and you can just do an open drone, move one finger around and improvise and kind of go raga and do some pseudo Hindustani music that I love to mess around with so much. Maybe Mark Sandman would have loved it too. Who knows? Sonic Youth definitely does stuff like that. So 5th fret on the A, 5th fret on the G, and then hit them all. That gives you this big open thing. And then you just move one finger around and you can make some stuff that sounds kind of cool. And then you can do another drone, off the A string, which is now, it's still an A. So you get an octave going here and just jam out. You can also do the double unison thing on the 7th fret. Sonic Youth does that a lot too, unison strings low, unison strings high. The whole thing is that you can move one finger and get the dissonance, the half step. Atlantic City later on today. Now I'm sitting on a blackjack table and I swear to God my dealer has attacked his neighbor. Hit me, I smile at me, but soon they're bringing down the really drinks to the table. Players win and winners play. Have a lucky day. Yeah, so tritar, all kinds of background sounds to sweeten the mix. Noise guitar in the background, like on Thursday, You Speak My Language. Morphine was pretty multifaceted in that respect. And I also heard that Mark Sandman was into picking up pawn shop guitars and restringing them for all kinds of stuff. And that he was into like non-Western music. And you can really hear that on The Night with songs like Rope on Fire, an Arabesque thing, and African music and stuff. Because that's where he said he got the idea for the two-string bass. So like different cultures that have those two-string instruments that they're sliding up and down on. So maybe they got more in common with Sonic Youth than one might think. Because, they always managed to sound slick as snot in the studio. But live, they had a lot of dirty sounds and deliberate dissonance. Live improv, live poetry with a bunch of sax noise in the background, dissonant saxophone who's playing two at once and going half step out of the other, and it sounds awesome. All kinds of, Sonic Youthy stuff. So I always wondered what Mark Sandman thought of Sonic Youth, if he thought of them at all, because they kind of seem to exist in parallel universes that never meet. But I was always thinking, if it wasn't for this whole being dead thing, he would have made one hell of a rebound for Kim Gordon after that unfortunate state of affairs. Because I was thinking, how would they meet up? Picture this. Kim Gordon knows what's going on. She's starting to explore legal avenues and meeting with lawyers and stuff. And one day after a law office, she's just like, fuck this, I'm going to a bar. Which I doubt she would do in real life, but still. So she goes into the cocktail lounge after yakking with the lawyers. And Mark Sandman's there. And they start talking about, their respective relationship issues, of which there must have been many. And finally comes down to closing time, and Mark Sandman's like, taxi, taxi, hotel, hotel. And Kim Gordon's like, why don't you come back to my place? My husband's out of town. He's gone till the end of the month. And that would be the start of a whole new adventure, Imagine the kind of music they would make together. What would it be? Like Morphine Youth, or, Free Kitten, like Free Morphine. What do you think of that? Like, you could just take Morphine as it is, regular Morphine sound, and just have Kim on lead vocals, because that sultry thing she does sometimes really is like a great juxtaposition to, Mark's suave, cool guy persona, and do like a have a lucky day, betting on the bull in the heather, like Tunic, Song for Sheila, like My Friend Claire, or The Other Side of the Sprawl, Pattern Recognition Potion, Kiss Me in the Shadow of a Cure for Pain, Met a Stranger on a Bus to Atlantic City later on today. Or maybe after they hook up and start Free Morphine Kitten. Kim Gordon just switched to mostly playing guitar around washing machine. She could totally do the tritar and the noise in the background that Mark did a lot in the studio, and then do that live. And they could do duets, because I think there was like one song on the night that had female background vocals, but they could do all kinds of stuff. A lot of the songs Mark Sandman had were about like doomed relationships. They could have a dialogue, and or knowing them, they would probably do like the least expected thing and start an electronic project, or just completely different instruments. I know Dana Colley played all kinds of stuff. There's that famous one of the saddest song with the triangle. That was pretty awesome. But, there's no limit to what they could have done. Or Kim Gordon picks up the 2-string bass, or just her regular bass. And, Mark Sandman, alternate tuning guitar on anything. The sky's the limit. It could have been great. It's just... now we need to have like a seance or a resurrection for Mark Sandman, so we can continue my obsession with supernatural hippy-dippy stuff that I don't actually believe in, but it's kind of fun. Like, Dr. Manhattan in The Watchmen, and how he like disintegrated himself and reconstituted his molecules, and it's like, you could totally do that with Mark Sandman, right? And then Kim Gordon's just never going to die. That's pretty obvious. So it's really just D, A, sound of silence, A, D, D, 2 sets of octaves, the 5th in between, and that's it. And you don't have to leave it like this with the unison strings, but going like that is kind of the soul of Sonic Youth. And getting all kinds of dissonance when the strings are together, you just move one finger. Really easy. Now, you don't have to leave it in a unison thing like that. I've figured out all kinds of different little triads you can do. And that might be reminiscent of Mark Sandman's mysterious tritar 3-string guitar, which he used to sweeten the mix on a lot of album tracks, but I've never seen it in real life. Have any of you? I mean, there's tons of information about what Mark Sandman did with his 2-string bass, but he also had this 3-string guitar. It's credited on his albums. You can really hear it on Good. And some of these, Mary Won't You Call My Name, has a really prominent tritar line where you can hear this slide 3-string guitar in the background that's doubling the bass line. It's really cool. So here's another idea I had to tune this top 3 in a minor triad. Really simple, and you leave the low strings the same. Okay. So you tune the B string down a step. You finger the 3rd fret on the G, which is now A. Anyway, you just go like this. Now we take the high D up a whole step to make a 5th. Put that back in E. So that's your minor triad, I guess you call it. I've written a lot of songs in this too. Playing at 5ths down here does kind of make it hard to get the most important interval for rock, which is the minor 3rd. But if you're up here, you can stretch it. For some kind of more normal rock where you just get like a rudimentary low thing going and play some like inverted power chords up high and do some kind of classic rock oriented stuff, but it's self-accompanied, so you don't need to play in a real band with a real bass player. So the Sonic Sandman tuning, it's a good thing to try on your least favorite guitar, your crappiest guitar, or in this case, guitar that I really like that I just don't play enough, like an alternate tuning is a good way to breathe new life into an instrument that's just lying around, and that's kind of how I accumulated all this stuff. So try it out, just take off the D string, do all that easy stuff, tuning it to D and stuff, and see what you think, because I'd really like to hear what better musicians would do with this, or like if you're not really interested in good technique and just want to bang on a guitar, this will make it really easy to at least be hitting notes and stuff with them. So if you made it through all that yakking and pontificating, more power to you. and we'll take you out with the all-round carefree outro. And the best thing about ripping off your favorite artists is you're never going to sound like them.